I will call the following commissioners, and if you could say you're here, that would be great. Commissioner Jefferson,
Here.
Commissioner Paquette,
Here.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Present. Here.
and Commissioner Gallardo.
Here.
Great, and I am also here. So we have 5 commission members, so we have quorum. The first order of business is, do we have any neighborhood council representatives? I think not, so we can move on to the next item. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items germane to the business of the commission? Does not look like we have any, so we'll move on to item number 6. Is there any public comment germane to the agenda items? And maybe the someone from staff can read out, if you're calling in, what the numbers are. I think, Scott, you'll be doing that, correct?
Yes, for those who are currently joined, to raise your hand, press *9, and to mute and unmute yourself, press *6. Those of you who are watching on YouTube live streaming, the number to call is 669-900-6833, 669-900-6833, and press passcode 963651. And I'll put that in the chat comments and YouTube live streaming.
Great. So Scott, have you noticed if there is any public comment?
There are none at the moment.
Okay, great. So now we can move on to item number 6, which is the approval of the minutes. We have 4 meeting minutes, and I wanted to see if there were any commissioners who wanted to speak or have any comments on any of these meetings. I take that as a no, so I think I can take all 4 meetings. So it's approval of the meeting action, item A, item B, item C, and item D. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. Is there a second to approve these meeting notes?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Paquette. So I'll quickly do a roll call. Commissioner Gallardo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Commissioner Paquette,
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So this item has been approved. So we can move on to item number 7, and I just need to read this quick paragraph again, which allows us to the findings to continue the commission to teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. The recommendation to adopt the findings and determination in accordance with AB 361, Section 3E3, that while the state of emergency due to COVID-19 pandemic, as originally proclaimed by the governor on March 4th, 2020, remains active, and/or state or local officials have imposed or recommended measures to promote social distancing, this legislative body has reconsidered the circumstances of the state of emergency, added that the state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of the members to meet safely in person, and/or state or local officials to continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. So I think we've already voted on this item in the past special meeting. So City Attorney, do we need to?
We still need to take a vote. Yes, we do.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve item number 7?
I motion to approve item 7.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. So we'll do a quick roll call vote. Commissioner Paquette, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
And I also, Commissioner Scrofano, vote yes, so the motion has been approved. So going to item number 8, public art projects. There are none this commission meeting. So we will move on to item number 9, which is the architectural submission to review the above ground facilities. And I'm going to invite Tammy, our staff architect. Tammy, do you mind presenting? Would you rather present each above ground facility, or would you rather present them, you know, all as one?
Yeah, for the AGFs, I've already reviewed them, and worked with the applicant to make sure that it falls in line with what the commission has approved before in the same format. So we can take each one individually. Each one of the applicants can present their own AGFs.
Great. So the first one looks like it's Verizon AGF. And that will be Rob Searcy presenting. Is that correct? Okay, great. Scott, do we have Rob on the,
I see Jennifer Knight. I don't know if that's. If you're dialing in, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
and also for this Verizon AGF, this is both for conceptual and final approval. Should we give Rob another 30 seconds and then,
See one caller. Could the caller dialing in from area code 310 ending in 315 identify yourself? Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
And we note that Mr. Vincent's on with us too.
yes, I was just going to say that. Commissioner Vincent, welcome.
Thank you. I apologize. We had a little bit of a family emergency.
Okay, so we are now currently on item number 9, the AGFs, and we're still waiting for the person to present. So I don't know, should we give them another couple seconds or should we just move on? Maybe we move on to B and we'll go back to A. So item number B is A0247DQ. It's both for conceptual and final. And it looks like the presenter is either Mike or Noel Palaris. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Are you, Scott, can you see them in the? I'm not seeing them.
There are only 3 presenters I see, Mr. Abdul Jamal and Jennifer Knight, and one dial-in from 310, area code 310, extension 315. Once again, if you're joining by phone, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
I see that Mr. Jama is here. Maybe we move on to item C and then we can go back to A and B. Item number C is CA002 Los Angeles Westchester 009. It is for conceptual and final, and the presenter is Abdul Jama. Welcome, Mr. Jama.
Hello, Commissioners. How are you guys? I'm going to share my screen now.
Go ahead, Mr. Jama.
Okay. I'll be presenting a new pole plant design for this location. This location is 6101 West Century Boulevard. It's between Century Boulevard and Avion Drive. This is a non-residential zone. It's a commercial area. This is what it looks like. It's a 33.4 feet integrated pole with a separate electric meter pedestal, which is 4 feet. You guys have approved this pole design in the past. I'm simply presenting you guys with the location. As I said before, this is a non-residential location. As you can see, there's white flag poles surrounding the area, along with street lights poles, but we're unable to co-locate on these existing street light poles because of the voltage issue. So we're forced to have a new pole plant in this location. And this new pole plant is located in the landscape area. It's not in the middle of a sidewalk or anything like that. And I'm asking for conceptual and final approval for this design. And if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Jama?
Yeah, yes. Can you mentioned that this would be in the landscaping and
Yes,
you're meaning on curbside, right?
What I meant was there's this landscape area
Right. Okay.
near the curb, but it's not
Thank you.
installed inside the sidewalk area, preventing pedestrian travel or anything like that.
Right. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from any commissioners?
My only question was, are there, I can't remember, how far away would be the next pole? If someone were to put one up?
Per AGF regulations, it's supposed to be a maximum of 2 per block. There's no existing AGF structure in this city block. So, but for our site, we have a separate electric meter pedestal attached to the integrated pole, and the meter pedestal itself is considered an AGF structure. So there will be no other poles in this block.
The 2 items already make for 2 items in the block, and it's a really
Exactly,
long
yes.
block.
It is.
I mean, it's not so much a question to you as it is to our internal architect and to us. Just that this is a really long block, so it'd be hard to imagine that there wouldn't be another time when there would want to be another pole. And as I look at the design of the street with all of the flag poles,
Mm-hmm.
I could see a moment where poles on the outside of the street would interfere with the design of the flag poles in front of the building, the overall scenic view of what this is supposed to look like in front of this building. Again, this is not Verizon's problem. It's just to point out this is a really, really long block. So I could see someone wanting to come in and ask for a waiver in terms of the block. This is probably the equivalent of 3 blocks, this aspect of the street in this location. And so we might want to, as an agency, be ahead of the issue of how do you handle such a large stretch, and when will it come up again, particularly given its proximity to the airport. So it's just a sidebar mention that had come to me when I was looking at it, but I have no reason not to approve it.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve item C, the Westchester AGF?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Biardo. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Burkett. So we'll do a quick roll call. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Vincent,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
Commissioner Burkett,
Yes.
and Commissioner Biardo.
Yes.
And I also vote yes, so item C has been approved. Thank you. Mr. Jama.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Happy
good
New
day.
Year, Mr. Jama.
You too.
So then going back to item A, or do we know, Tammy, do you know if they're on the Zoom?
Yes, Rob, are you on?
Robert Vincent?
Oh, no, sorry, the applicant, Rob Searcy. I just talked to him, I called him and he was signing on. What's the number to hit to unmute yourself if they're calling in?
*6.
Okay. Hi, Rob, are you on? Let's give him a minute. And then the next agenda item with Noel Peleus, I just called him and unfortunately, all of his people are tied up right now. They're in other meetings, so they will not be able to make it. This item will be pushed to next month.
Okay, great. Well, Tammy, maybe we can go on to item number 10, the streetlights.
Sure.
And then hopefully Rob Searcy will be able to join us after. So I'm going to take item 10 out of context. So we have streetlight submission. These, I just want to make note that these are all matching streetlights and we can take this as one motion to approve. Tammy, do you want to say anything about the streetlights?
These they're just I did go through every single one to like pre-approve them. They all follow the correct format in the way that you guys have approved them before. So I think that they are okay to go.
Okay, thank you. So this will be, just to note, this is item number A, B, C, D, E, F, G, hold on, H, I, J. And that's it. So it's item A through J. Are there any questions from the commissioners? I take that as a no. So is there a motion to approve the streetlights listed below items A through J?
I move to approve all of the items as a consent.
Thank you, Commissioner Vincent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that you, Commissioner Paquette, or Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'll do a quick roll call. Commissioner Jefferson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Vincent,
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes.
Commissioner Paquette,
Yes.
yes, and I, Commissioner Scarfano, also vote yes. So item number 10 has been approved. So now
Madam
going,
President, can I
yes,
just ask a question? I think I've at least asked it a couple of times. Can we at least, when we get these, even when they're matching, that they would give us a thumbnail of what the street light at the location is, so that in this particular context where we were looking at as many as we were, we would have some idea of how many different street lights there are all over the city and what they look like? Just want to, I understand it's matching, just would love to know what it looks like.
right. No, thank you for that.
I love the sound of that, Madam President.
I've actually never been called madam before, so I really like it.
I just can't wait till it happens on a national stage.
Maybe not with me, but
And for the note, Tammy, I know it's new for you to hear that, but we've come up with this request several times in the past.
yes, thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. So hopefully, Tammy, you can, and staff can do that for us for the next meeting.
Sure. Sorry, I'm on the phone with an applicant right now, and he's saying he needs to be let in. Scott, do you think you can let him in?
One's in the waiting room, and I've been looking. Is the person calling in from 786?
Give me 1 second, hang on.
And Commissioner Jefferson, just to clarify what you're asking for, you're not asking for the standard pictures that are there. You're asking for the specific pictures of the site locations.
Whatever they're saying they're matching, presumably there's an existing thumbnail
Mhm.
of what that pole light looks like.
Understood.
For
Thank you.
for that particular site. And I imagine if we had a thumbnail for every one of these, we'd probably be looking at 5 or 6 different pole lights, and our eyes would go, oh, look how many different pole lights there are all over the city.
Because Tammy has included pictures. You see the pictures that are down below at the bottom of page 5 of the agenda and the top of page 6. So those are what the streetlights match to.
Right, so are those the streetlights that are matching each one of these?
Yeah,
Because
that's
forgive me, I may have misread it then.
Yes,
My
that's
apologies.
yes, that's my understanding. That each of these will match those existing styles in those locations.
I see, got it. My apologies, please let the record reflect that I was dumb and stupid.
That's
Thank you.
that is not it at all.
It's all right, that's the only thing I'm gonna admit it to.
So, and I had a quick question for staff. So when you, like in item number I, where you list, just, this is a clarification based on Commissioner Jefferson's comment, but where you have install, it's 1CD851A, and that keys into the street light down below. Is that correct? So then we could look down below and see 851A. That's the street light that will be matching on Venice Boulevard. Is that
Correct.
correct?
That is
correct.
correct, yes.
Yes.
That's great, because then
Yeah.
we can key in the bottom ones to the agenda.
My
item.
apologies, I misread it as if somehow or another they all belong to Crenshaw.
No worries. So going back to item 9, Tammy, do we have the applicant on the phone? Were you able to get?
He's going to call in right now. And I wanted to address that point. Sorry, Commissioner Jefferson, about the pictures. I agree, it's a little bit unclear right now. It looks like all those streetlights are just for that project, but it's meant for all the streetlights, and we're going to make some graphic changes to that so that it's very clear.
Not a problem. While you're waiting on that person to come on, can I ask one question? I think I was reading a story recently where there are a number of street lights that have actually been stolen, more of the historic style. And so, and there were several of them, actually. I think they've been stolen off of bridges. So when something like that happens, does that mean that the light that'll come back will be to try to match the historic style, or would it change?
They should be coming through Bureau of Street Lighting. I don't know that necessarily that they would come before the commission if it's replacing like for like, but I can double check with my colleagues there.
It was just in some of the historic bridges of Los Angeles where those historic light fixtures are. They're actually somewhat unique and rare, and I was just curious. Thank you.
Hi, Rob, are you on? Sorry, Scott, what was the number to unmute? Was it *9?
*6.
*6. Rob, could you press *6 to unmute yourself?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how are you?
Good, welcome to the meeting. Sorry, there was some miscommunication.
Not a problem.
So
So-
Rob,
Oh, go ahead.
do you have anything you can share on your screen to present to the commission? This is Commission President's.
Let's see. Yes.
Or is it, Scott, do you have that loaded? So,
I will load it up now.
Great. Thank you.
Which item number was it?
this is item A, Verizon AGF Sunky. And it's for conceptual and final. It's at 7800 Verdugo Crestline Drive. Rob, are you ready to start presenting?
Yes, ma'am, I can do that.
Okay, great.
Chairman and Commissioners, thank you for allowing us to present this project to you today. To give you some background, this is a wireless telecommunication facility that's already been approved. It was approved by the Planning Commission about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's actually operating on temporary power. We came to the Cultural Affairs Board probably about, to be honest, it's been almost 3 years to get an approval to place a pedestal and transformer both for Verizon Wireless and for T-Mobile. Unfortunately, what happened was it was about 3,000 feet to the east of this location along the Verdugo Crestline. In the interim, we found out that there was a subdivision that had been approved probably about 2007. That final map was starting to process through the city, and as a result of that, it vacated a portion of Verdugo Crestline. Therefore, our original engineering design had to be revised. So what we were able to do is find a location that rested about, as I said, 3,000 feet to the west of the original approved location, where we are now proposing to place a transformer and a meter pedestal on a pad on Verdugo Crestline at a location that is intersecting a paper street called Woodward Avenue. Again, this location is one that is obviously in this rustic area. We're proposing to place the pad, the transformer, the meter pedestal, and a couple of bollards because really this area of Verdugo Crestline Road is primarily used to service Southern California Edison transmission towers. So there are a lot of heavy equipment driving up and down along this area. So what we tried to do is find a location that was a little further off the main intersection on Verdugo Crestline and more toward Woodward Avenue. This location will likely not be visible from any roadway other than Verdugo Crestline. And for those people who are hiking in that area, as I stated, it's a very rustic area. And this location will also tie in to about 21 utility poles that are being run from Glenteeve, which is a street at the bottom of this bluff. They'll be running up that paper street, and power will come off one of those newly set utility poles to feed our meter location. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
May we see the drawings of the proposed thing here? That's it? There's just a retaining wall there with 2 boxes?
Yes, that's it. There's a retaining wall that abuts the toe of the slope. It's really to protect the facility from any type of runoff or sloughing or any type of erosion that might happen during the life of the project.
What is underground there?
What we'll place underground will be conduit for power and conduit for fiber. What we're showing at this location for the HF is simply for the power. The fiber will run aerially on the newly set utility poles and will come underground, but it doesn't require any AGFs. It will all be handled underground. So there'll be handholds there, but nothing else.
At what point will it be moved underground?
The fiber will always be underground. Once the poles are set, we run fiber aerially to the last pole. Then we'll dip down that last pole and run everything underground from there. The power will never go underground. There's no chance because it's a high power system. The existing site that's in operation is about another 2,500 feet to the east of this location. And because of that, I need the transformer to step the power up so I can run under in our conduit so that we won't have a catastrophic loss in power. Then we'll do a step down transformer at the site to bring the power back into a usable amperage.
What is the transformer going to look like?
The transformer is that box that's the larger box that's shown in the photograph.
Okay.
That transformer probably is going to be, let me pull up my plan and take a look at it. The transformer is approximately 56 inches in height. So it's a little bit taller than a meter pedestal, a little bit wider.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Rob. Okay, that's great. Can you just walk us through your presentation so we can see all of the drawings in your package? So this is a closer view of what these transformers will look like, correct?
Correct. So there's one transformer, 1 meter pedestal. The meter pedestal will be painted green. So for about 2 or 3 months of the year, it'll kind of match some of the vegetation in the background. For the other 9 months of the year, obviously it's going to be more rustic up there, and you've got a lot of brown vegetation. But really, there's not a lot of traffic there, and I think it will really blend into the background for the most part. What I can also offer is that we can probably color treat that block wall, give it more of an earth tone color to blend more into the background of what's out there.
Will you be planting any indigenous foliage around the structure?
Any vegetation?
Mm-hmm.
No, in this area, really, it's a high fire zone. So the fire department would likely want us to minimize the planting of any ornamental landscape. It's a very natural area, so we had not planned on doing that. And there's no way to irrigate that area. There are no water lines in that area.
So maybe that's just the point, is that it is a natural area and it looks like such an unnatural thing.
It is, but it's in the right. One of the things I guess I could propose is that we could plant some cactus around there. That would definitely blend into it. I know there are a few cactus stands in the area. There's a very sizable cactus grove about 3,000 feet to the east of it. So I could definitely plant some of that to help it integrate into that natural rustic area.
From my point of view, it would help at least around the outside wall. I understand why you wouldn't want it in front because you need to be able to access it, but it just doesn't look like we attempted to make any effort to recognize that it was supposed to be sitting in a natural setting.
Absolutely, I can do that. I can, like I said, I can have them color treat that wall with a more of an earth tone brown, and I can plant cactus around to also soften the appearance.
And our architects may have a different opinion about it, but even if you had attempted to make a rock facade on the wall, it would have at least looked like it was, you know, a pile of rocks surrounding the boxes.
Yeah, I think anything you can do, Rob, to sort of visually soften the stepped wall and, you know, whether it's vegetation, painting, moving a few boulders closer to it so it looks like it's more conducive to the natural setting it's in.
I can absolutely do that.
Recommended.
I can add some decorative boulders around there. Absolutely.
Are there any other questions from fellow commissioners?
Hey, Rob, I have just a quick question. Can you go to the shot where you see a little more head on? So the side view, it seems to suggest that, and I'll go to the side view, the preview. It seems to suggest that it's sort of up against a hill. And if that's the case, is there a way to build it into the hill so that the side cement walls aren't just so sticking out? I live in Nichols Canyon, and there are a number of these kind of things that are built to protect fire hydrants. And they're sort of built into the hillside so that when you're coming at it from the side angle, you don't really see these giant cement walls just kind of seemingly coming out of nowhere. And if that's not possible, then what the hell do I know? But
no, that's a very good idea. One of the challenges that we have here is because it's a paper street, we really don't know whether the development ultimately will happen on that roadway if it happens in the next 20 years. So one of the challenges I have is that I have to maintain a little bit of a setback from that slope because the right-of-way line really runs pretty close to the back of that.
right.
And I've also got aerial utility poles that are going in. So I
got it.
look at right now, it would be a big challenge for me to do it. I wish I could. And that's really one of the reasons why we have the retaining wall around there, is to minimize some of that sloughing of that slope, of the total slope as it comes down, so I don't have a lot of things falling into the pad area.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Madam
problem.
Madam President,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. Say we go ahead and we approve this item. I assume this is conceptual and final. And what guarantees do we have that these suggestions or suggestions that are being accepted, that they're going to be integrated into it, will be done?
That's a good question, Commissioner Vincent. I personally don't know the answer to that, but I think I will ask staff. Do you have any comments that you can?
Is our only recourse not to approve it, have them to come back with the suggestions that we have? That's, I guess, ultimately a question.
Right.
I think
we
we
could
usually, we can approve conceptual and then they come back with the final.
Right.
Right.
But I guess your question, Commissioner Vincent, was like, you know, will our comments be addressed? And I guess the only way to do that is if we approve conceptual, right?
I would
Yeah.
imagine so. Yeah.
That is usually what happens. We would approve conceptual, they'd bring it back. If necessary, we could reflect back on what the comments were at the time that we approved conceptual and then look at what it is that they bring forward based on what it is that they had to look at.
I move to only approve conceptual design.
Second.
Okay, great. So the motion before us for Verizon AGF is to approve conceptual only, and final will be, Mr. Cersey, your next visit back to us. So I will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Paquette, how do you vote? We're voting on conceptual only and not
All right, I'll approve conceptual only.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Approve.
Commissioner Jimenez. How do you vote?
Yes.
Yes for conceptual only. Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Great. Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
Great. And I also will vote yes for conceptual only. So motion has been approved for conceptual only. So I think that concludes the items. And I think we're going to move on to staff reports.
Thank you very much.
No,
Commissioner.
I also should mention that the next commission meeting is February 9th. And Mr. Tarika, do you have any comments on your staff report to us?
I do. Thank you. And thanks so much, commissioners. Wanted to first just say thank you to all of you and wish you all a happy new year as we get started on this new year. Want to also just again thank Tammy for helping to streamline our projects and our items as we're going through, and to Juan, who has stepped up to support the commission during this transition time. So just wanted to give you kind of a brief update on a few different areas. The first is on hiring. The department continues to make progress towards our hiring goals, and we're working to fill several positions throughout the department, both to support the department's programmatic and administrative work. We're working with the personnel department and support staff to utilize all of our hiring tools to bring on new staff as quickly as possible. As we're continuing to bring staff on, we have lost another one of our key folks. Ben Johnson, who is DCA's Performing Arts Director, has left the department for a new opportunity, but we're really grateful that Nikki Genovese, who is an arts manager within the Performing Arts program, has stepped up to take on the role of Acting Performing Arts Director. So we're continuing to work to fill our various vacancies throughout the department, and I'm hopeful that we'll have some additional good news to share at our next commission meeting. And just as we keep pushing forward, I also just wanted to give a quick acknowledgement to all of DCA's staff and senior team who have really stepped up to help the department navigate this time of transition and to continue providing the essential programs and services that we do. So just a quick update on Reconstitution. The department is continuing its planning.
Before you do, Mr. Tarika, can I just say, probably because I'd say that Yvonne and I are probably the ones who know Ben Johnson the best, and his service to the agency over the years has been first rate and deeply, deeply appreciated. And normally we'd have the opportunity for them to come in and we would have known and said so. Just please make sure you convey back to him that for all of those years of service, we deeply, deeply appreciate that work that he did, because it was first rate.
I will. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a big loss, and the timing of his departure fell in between the month of the commission meeting. So otherwise we would have brought him in.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So on Reconstitution, we're continuing our planning for reopening. During the current surge, we're still in a pause, and we're doing our best to limit in-person activities to keep DCA staff and visitors safe. But we are looking at addressing facility needs and making sure that we have everything in place to be able to reopen safely. And just a few updates on programming. We're continuing to provide programming across the city. So we recently announced the 2021-22 COLA Individual Artist Fellowships. These 9 fellows will each produce a series and set or singular new artwork with a grant from DCA, and will be premiered and promoted by the City of LA in the spring of 2022 as part of the 25th edition of this annual initiative. Our grants team is currently in the middle of its grant selection panel process. We're actively reviewing grant applications to select providers for the fiscal year 22-23 year. We're also continuing to manage several construction projects across the city, including our theaters and our art centers. And we have several RFPs that are out right now, including the request for a partner operator for the Vision Theater and Performing Arts Center and the Western Avenue mural in CD10. And just a few last things, our centers are beginning their winter and spring sessions of classes, continuing to do so virtually for the health and safety of our staff and students. And we're continuing to celebrate the centennial anniversaries of the Watts Towers and Hollyhock House. And we're also adding to that list the 91st anniversary of the Warner Grand Theater. So again, just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all of your continued support, and to encourage everybody to continue to stay healthy and safe as we keep moving forward, and looking forward to our continued progress.
Thank you, Daniel. So I think on that note, we can wrap it up. So the meeting is adjourned. And again, our next commission meeting, I think, is February 9th. Shoot, I can't remember.
Yes, it's February 9th at 1:30 p.m.
Okay, super. Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. It's great to see you.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
And everybody,
everyone.
the
Thank
entire
you.
staff and commission.
Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody.
Daniel. That was terrific. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.